Okay, hey man, we live, man. It's your boy Sarge, man, at the Iron Elite Podcast. Happy Sunday to everybody. And hopefully everybody got a chance to listen to that song that I put out earlier this morning, Be Ever Wonderful. I don't care what nobody say. Earth, Wind, and Fire is the best group ever in my whole entire lifetime. So I had to put that out there right away. So I also want to say this, man. The Road to Iron Elite Podcast, the first part of the series went down yesterday. It was an awesome show, man. A lot of great participation, man. I learned a lot. Hopefully, you guys learned a lot also. But I'm gonna say this, man. I could barely sleep last night because I was thinking about who was coming on today. I'm just telling you, Sarge is a nerd when it comes to this motorcycle stuff, man. I knew I was gonna have some real superstars on today, and we were gonna talk about again in the part 2 series on how to prep as far as equipment and operations when it comes to cold weather riding, man. So today I have some real VIPs, some real heavy hitters. They're gonna come on and they're gonna give you guys some ideas and some information to help you to be able to ride in cold weather as efficiently as humanly possible, man. So today, gentlemen, we're gonna start. Hey man, who wants to start to introduce themselves first? If you could just tell me who you are and kind of give me a little bit of your accolades, man, because we got some rock stars. Hey, Preach, you want to start it out for me, brother?
Yeah, I got you. I got you. So for those that don't know me, Preach, I am a member of Las Vegas Rare Breed chapter specifically, but the Empire. So I'm just a guy that like to ride motorcycles, man. I like to keep the motorcycles. It's about being out on the road. It's about enjoying the ride. It's about trying to get back to the people that I learned from. You know, each one teach one, as Sarge say. So I'm just it's an honor always to try to help further the cause.
That's what's up. Hey, Country, you want to go next, bro?
Yeah, this is I'm Country, National Sergeant Arm for Down the Pound MC. Basically, I'm like Preach. I just like ride my motorcycle, man, and I do a lot of iron butt rides. My brother Reef. Shout out to Reef. He's my iron butt mentor when I first started doing back in, I think, like 2017 time frame. And I just like riding my motorcycle, man. Iron butts is, it's an individual type of thing, but being in the club, man, I represent for the brand, and that's what I like to do.
That's what's up. And Ken, last but not least, sir. Matter of fact, Ken, you said you're in the War Lab, right?
Yeah. Underground Resistance Headquarters, and so I fell in love with riding in the winter several years ago, and just started looking for ways to stay warm and dry, and that I always say we don't get to pick our obsessions; they choose us, and that was mine. And so I got tired of having cold, wet hands, and started studying and working on ways to stay warm. And I figured out a few things. Next thing you know, the phone started ringing, and I'm known now in the Iron Butt Association as the heated gear guru. So I'm happy to share my experience.
Awesome, man. So, hey, gentlemen, first and foremost, thank you for spending a little bit of time with us today, man. I'm so excited to have you guys here. So, man, I'm going to tee this thing up. Okay. First and foremost, anybody who knows Sarge, man, knows I don't like cold weather riding, but I'll do what I have to do. And as we were thinking, some of the guys a couple of weeks ago, we were thinking about, I said, man, we're just kind of laughing and making jokes about it. And we're saying, hey, man, Iron Elite event, paying tribute to Black History event, is on the 2nd of February. I was like, man, don't worry, it ain't no big deal. It's not cold in Florida. Yeah, man, but it's cold in Pennsylvania. And we started kind of talking and playing around, and we're like, you know what? This needs to be an each one, teach one series, man. We really need to start talking about this, man, because, again, as more and more riders are starting to kind of come and starting to get into this elite style of riding, it really is about equipment and what is going to be the difference between being able to ride safely and be able to be successful, or be able to ride in a situation that you're going to be in harm's way. So hopefully today we can kind of give some people some ideas or some things to start to take a look at. So fellas, if anybody wants to kick this off and start and say, matter of fact, let's go with Preach, because Preach is coming across doing the I-10 to the end. In a matter of fact, in about an hour. Is that safe to say? In about an hour.
As soon as we get off, I'm on.
And so, Preach, let me ask you this, man. Do you have cold weather gear on your bike right now, bro? You ready?
I do. I keep all my bikes packed year round. So it's one of those. One of my processes are, if I'm done with a ride, I take the gear off, test it, repack it, right? So year round, you're going to find in that right saddlebag, you're going to find rain gear, heated gear, and usually a base layer, a good base layer in there. So year round, because if you ride year round, and I know Country and Ken, y'all know this, you can have a temperature flop 50 degrees midsummer. I've started plenty of times in Seattle, it's 40 degrees and it's 110 by the time I'm in Baker. So gotta have it year round.
So what do you use, man, in a particular suit that you use, or any type of setup that you use?
Yeah, well, you know what I've had success with just the regular hot wire gear. So for me, Sarge, the base layer is the first piece. Like I hate to be bulky. Like I would just ride with my brother XO from Fresno, and bro looked like Pillsbury Doughboy getting on his bike. And even when you see him turn, he was turning wide. But that turn was wide, huh? He said, "Man, I can't get my arms around." So you know, when we layer up, we real bulky,
right?
So part of my research started with just the base layer. The base layer is the most, to me, it's as critical as a heated gear. So there's a lot of stuff out there. You know, you got your Cycle Gears, got the freeze out or whatever they call it now. You got that. Harley's got a few base layers. A lot of guys do sport Under Armour. But me, I like those because I have them too. But I found the best success with merino wool. So they have 2 thread counts that I like to use. The 250 mostly, because I try to understand the science behind how well it works, because that's going to really apply to what we're doing. Merino wool, like a 250 count, you can ride anywhere from 30 degrees to 80 degrees. So it fixes the myth of,
okay. So when you say 250 count, you're talking about the
thread count.
Material thread count. It's like
thread count.
If I was talking about a blanket or something on a bed.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Absolutely. Okay. You have 3. You have a 150, 160, that's more for summer, really light. Gonna be similar to like your Under Armour or what have you. 250 is like thermals. And then they have a higher one, a 3. Now here's the caveat to it. The higher count, typically that merino wool can feel clammy on your skin, because if it gets wet, you know, it stays wet. It's going to hold that moisture. It's got all those properties that we look for in the other gear. So I start with that. It's a real good base layer, because I do my merino wool, socks, shirt, pants, and then my heated gear. And then I don't have a riding suit. I'm still old school. I'm leather. So I ride leather year round. So a leather chap pants, leather shirt, a leather bandana on top of that. And zone control, because, you know, in your heated gear, like what I like about the hot wire is it works for me. One, Cycle Gears are everywhere. And so if you got that 2-year warranty, if anything happens to the gear, map in a Cycle Gear and you go trade it in. They look it up, swap it out for you real time. So everything that I do with my gear is I want it to be accessible. You know, there's a lot of great brands. Some are more expensive, some are less expensive, but I'm looking at, even just like with my bike, the oil I run the oil because I can go find it anywhere. You know, so same with gear. So I do it with that. And then it's zone control. I have the gloves, I have the jacket, I have the pants, and I have the heat inserts. And then I just modify based on how I'm feeling.
Okay. So Country, what do you use? You use the same stuff or use something different?
Well, I use something a little bit different. Well, not too much different, but like you said, about the base layer, I have the Under Armour just the top for the Under Armour layer, and then I also have the freeze out. So it depends on what type of weather I'm going to be riding in. Sometimes I'll put on the Under Armour shirt first, then I put on the freeze out top. So it all depends on where I'm going. Or sometimes I might just just be able to just put the freezer on, but usually definitely the base layer outside of the Under Armour is definitely going to be freeze out for me. I have the top, I have the bottom, and I have the Scully that goes over your head. So that's my base layer, and then I put my regular clothes on. But like Preach said, he don't have a suit, but I actually rock a suit. It's called the Storm 2 Blast. This is the suit that comes with it. I have the top and the bottom.
Okay.
It's called Storm 2 Blast, and it acts as a heated. It has no heated element in it, but it's a cold weather get up, and it's waterproof. So it acts as two things in one.
Is that like a Gore-Tex suit? Is that?
Yeah, it's like a Gore-Tex suit. Yep.
Okay. Really? Okay.
Yep. I did a ride about a month ago. Since I upgraded, I was running this the rain suit I had before. This little the plastic stuff from Soccer Gear. This is what I used to use before, but I found out with using this, I would still get wet sometimes, especially in the seat area.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a ride about a month ago, and that was my first time getting caught in a real storm, like a bad storm since I had it. So I had it on. I was in the storm for at least, probably about 4 hours. No lie, like tough. And I didn't get wet nowhere at all using that gear.
So that suit you just showed us.
Yeah,
that's no the other one.
You can get it from Soccer Gear. It's made by Built. Okay. It's called Storm 2 Blast.
Then you just showed something else before that.
No, these are the pants. These are the pants. These are the pants that comes with it, and this is the jacket. The jacket also has the pants, and the jacket also has the armor in it. It has the elbow armor, and it has the knee armor.
I got you.
So yeah, it acts as cold weather, get down, and rain all in one. So that's what I use. And then as far as my footing, I use these boots called Chippewas. These are also waterproof. It has the insulation on the inside of it. Chippewas, man. I upgraded to these probably about 2 years ago. And these are the best riding boots I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, awesome. I got it right in the corner.
Yeah. The problem is with this brand here, the company doesn't sell them anymore. So I had to go on eBay, and when you shop for them on eBay, you have to make sure you find you have to do a lot of searching because on eBay it's personal people that's selling stuff. So you have to make sure you find your right size and all that. And luckily I came across a size 13, which is what I wear. And I bought them, man, and I've been rocking with them for like 2 years now. And it's the best boots, comfortable, waterproof. I don't get no water in my boots, shoes, or anything when I'm riding. So with my boots and that gear, when I'm caught in a storm now, I don't get wet anywhere at all.
Okay, that's what's up.
And as far as heating, I didn't mean to cut you off, sorry.
Okay.
As far as heating, I run the Sidisi. I run the Sidisi, but I only run the gloves. I don't run run the body, and I don't run the
inserts. You talking about the glove inserts?
So I have the inserts for if I'm riding, and it's even like in summertime, or like Pre said, we go through different elements. So I usually have these with me if I want to just keep my summer gloves on. But the problem with the inserts, they have no control. There's only one level. There's only one type of heat. You can't control medium, low, medium, high. Mm-hmm. Then I also have the gauntlets. These are the gauntlets. So when I know it's going to be extreme, like we came across to the 10, I was rocking these because these you can actually control. These are Sidisi hot wired heated gloves.
Okay.
In addition to that, I have heated grips.
Man, I just got on that 23 limited, man. I got heated grips, bro.
Yeah, that's what I got the same bike. So yeah, we got the heated grips.
Man, like, man, this is nice.
I think we all got the same ride now.
I'll be using those next month, man. I can't wait. I'm excited about the J1, man, and using the heated grip. I've never had a bike with heated grips, man. So
Me either. This is my first time. And I said, man, I've been missing out this whole time.
Hey, we all have. We all have. You remember the BMW 2013 S1000? That was the last bike I had with heated grips, and you really didn't need it on a sports bike.
Right.
But when I turn, and it goes up to 6, right?
Mhm.
So I've been using them
go
because I've been out a couple times. I can't. 3 burns me out. I got to turn them
Yep.
off.
I usually turn to 6 and then I drop down to 2.
So that's what's up. Hey, so I'm gonna get to our last guest, man. I want to do a little something different with you, Cam. I want you to
Okay.
tell everybody what you do, and I also like you to describe what should a person like Sarge. You've never had a heated suit before. He's
Okay.
gonna just start riding cold weather this year. What should I be looking for? What should I
Yeah,
do? What should I
I'm
expect in
gonna
the
get
quality of
you.
a suit?
I'm going to get you to love riding in cold weather.
There it
I
is.
would
Let's
I
do
would
it.
much rather ride in 20 degrees than 90 degrees.
Really?
It's so much more comfortable. I have so much more control over my environment. And so starting out, just like the other guys have said, you got to get a good base layer. Merino wool works so much better because it actually reflects your body heat back at you. Now there are some synthetic fibers that work well too. You get, Polartec fleece or like what I'm wearing today is LD Comfort. I don't know if you've heard of that brand, but a long distance rider named Mario Winkelmann invented this over 20 years ago, specifically for long distance riding. And it has good thermal properties for winter if you can get one base layer, but it has evaporative cooling in the summer. You can actually get it wet, and it's
Sweet.
got an inner layer that keeps your skin dry. So I don't go anywhere without my LD Comfort. And I've got the merino wool too, so I'll pick which base layer I'm going to wear just depending on how I feel. Then you do a heated layer, and and I'm neck to toe from the insoles, pants, jacket, gloves, and it's better to just put the stuff on and then decide when you need it, so you don't have to stop and change, get on the side of the road and do that roadside dance, to do that, and then depending upon your outer layer. A lot of people are wearing the Gore-Tex gear, and I'm a firm believer in Gore-Tex. Everything is waterproof until it's not. But Gore-Tex is the only material that's guaranteed to stay waterproof. So the thing about that is, if you're wearing the Climb or the Aerostitch or something like that, it's so breathable. It also, it's designed to let vapor and sweat and everything out and keep the water from coming in, but it also lets heat out. So you need a mid layer. And I'm a fan of the freeze out. They call it axial now. They changed the look. It's instead of being blue, it's gray now. It's called axial at Cycle Gear, and I love that stuff. I actually wear the freeze out bottoms. I wear that as my mid layer. So I've got my wool or my LD Comfort first, then my heated layer, then I put that freeze out on top of that to hold that heat in from the heated gear, and that works really well with whatever I'm wearing. So same thing on the top. I got my heated jacket, and then I just use a little quilted thermal liner out of one of my old jackets as my mid layer on top. So as long as you have something to hold that heat in, and then you put that Gore-Tex shell over the top, and you're good to go. You're impervious to anything. You don't have to stop and put on a rain suit. You just zip up and keep going. It's just beautiful. And then, back to how I started doing this. I started touring in winter and just freezing my tail off. And I thought, well, it's got to be a way to do this that's better. I was on the Texas Gulf Coast. I thought, well, I'm not going to buy heated gear. I'll only use it a couple of days a year. So I studied and I started working on ways to add heat to my gloves. I also found that there still aren't any Gore-Tex heated gloves on the market. So I knew Gore-Tex was the way to keep me dry. So I figured out a way to add heat to the Gore-Tex gloves. And I stayed with it, just kept perfecting my technique and seeking out better materials. And when I finally got something that really worked well, the phone started ringing, and that was 16 years ago. And I'm just so thrilled to have been able to help hundreds of long distance riders stay warm in the winter.
Okay. So Ken, do you design certain things in gloves as far as
Well, I take
elements and that?
I take the glove of your choice, basically. So I start with a good, well insulated, high quality, mostly leather Gore-Tex glove, and then I have a system that I've developed where I actually add heating elements into those gloves, so you get the best of both worlds. And of course, and I'm all about the overkill. We ride motorcycles that go faster than we can ride them. We have toasters that can burn our bread. Why not have some heated gear that can get hot? And so that's my philosophy. So if you mention like the cycle gear, the hot wired liners that are just stuck on full blast all the time, those are 11 watts. Gerbing typically is about 14 watts. Warm and Safe, which I'm also a dealer for, their gloves are 18 watts. Well, I thought, well, let's just do 20. So I've got a 20-watt glove out there, and so you have to have a controller with my gloves, because they will certainly get too hot if you just plug them straight into the jacket with no control. And so then a little bit later, my feet started getting cold, and I thought, well, I'll work on that too. So I developed an insole. The average insole or heated sock on the market is about 8 watts. My insoles are 20 watts. So we've got the warmth there, every bit that you need, and you can just control it, turn it down when you need it. And then everything else, I developed a wonderful relationship with Warm and Safe heated gear. So for the jackets and the pants and controllers and those accessories, I can give riders a deal on that stuff.
Okay. Okay. So if Sarge is walking in today, knowing that I'm going to probably be riding in cold weather, let's say I'm going to do maybe a couple cross country trips this winter, where would you start me at? Because take for instance, I don't have a clue. Where would you start me at?
Well, I always ask what you have. And then, I usually have to have that conversation. First thing going in is what not to do. So there's the first thing that you have to get rid of is all the cotton, because they make towels out of cotton because it's absorbent. Well, cotton retains moisture. So if you got your jeans or your cotton underwear, your hoodie, whatever's made out of cotton, it's going to hold moisture. It's going to, you're going to perspire even when you're cold. So that moisture plus a 70-mile-an-hour frigid wind is bad news. So the first thing you do is lose all the cotton, and you work with either the merino wool or the synthetic fibers. Then you get a heated layer, because you're going to have a radiant heat source, because your body radiates the same amount of heat all the time. And of course, the definition of wind chill is when that wind is hitting you and is offsetting or overloading the heat that your body can radiate. You got to have some help. So you got to have the electric heated layer there to keep that wind chill out, because The longer you stay out, and wind chill is exponential too. We all figured that out. The longer you stay out, the colder you're going to get. The sooner or later, your layers, your insulation, whatever you're wearing, is going to start assuming the outside temperature. We just don't have the ability to offset that wind chill without some help. So that's why I say you just go ahead, neck to toe, get that heated gear, put it on, and turn it on when you need it. And that way you don't have to stop and try to warm up, or you're not subjecting yourself to hypothermia. And of course, what happens there, if your core starts to get cold even before you feel it, the body has a reaction to that, and it starts to shut off circulation to your extremities. So that's another reason why your hands and your feet start to feel the cold most, because your body's trying to protect your vital organs. And so putting that heat on your torso prevents that and keeps that warm blood flowing out to your arms and legs. So your other heated gear, it doesn't have to work as hard.
I got a quick question, and then I'm gonna pass this on to the other guys to talk about any type of headgear that you wear. But a heated suit, let me put it this way: what's the coldest temperature that you can ride in a heated suit without putting yourself in harm's way?
Well, harm's way is going to come with the road surface.
Mhm.
That's the only limiting factor.
Yeah.
Because I've ridden in 3 degrees, and as long as the road is clear and dry, and you don't have a risk of ice on the road,
What ice? Right, right. Mhm.
I'm good. I mean, I really, and I ride in the teens routinely, and I don't know the difference between 15 and 45 degrees. It's just position on the knob on that controller.
Mhm.
So if you got that simple system, okay, one, you get rid of the cotton, so that you got that out of the way. Good base layer, good heated layer, a good mid layer, and a good outer shell, and then you seal up. Like you're going to seal up around your cuffs, around your boots. You're going to seal up on the gauntlets on your gloves. You're going to wear something over your face and neck, and you seal up so the wind is not getting in. If you've got leaks, if that cold wind is getting in somewhere, no amount of wattage is going to help. So if you do that, and temperature is, you can extend your range, like I said, down to the teens comfortably all day long.
Okay. Okay. So gentlemen, say Breach, since you're coming across here in a couple minutes, do you wear anything particular on your head? I know we bald head guys, so our head get cold. It's ball game for us. Do you wear any type of headgear or anything like that underneath your helmet?
I like to be real comfortable in my helmet. So if I do, it's going to be something very, very thin. It's really neck protection.
Yeah.
And I think Low Key said it best yesterday. It was either him, I don't remember if him or Reef said it, but you just want to keep, once I got no air coming into my helmet and it's sealed up, I wear a Shoei. That's a pretty good helmet, for just protection. I typically don't wear anything on my head, or I'll have the summer type cap. I have a merino cap that I'll wear sometimes because honestly, yeah, I'll sweat. Yeah, just like a little Scully, because I sweat. I'll get to sweating in there. Like when I start putting my gear on, like I have my merino, because I know I'm leaving. I got merino wool socks on now, my base layer, and my heated pants on. By the time I slip that leather over, if I'm just walking out the door, I'm sweating. Like it's holding the heat in already. So for my head, I really don't do a whole lot because it's neck down.
Right.
Is what I try to seal up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody's different. Everybody feels the cold a little differently. Plus, your rider position, the type of bike, the wind protection you've got, that has a little bit to do with it also. But yeah, I'm the same way. My head never gets cold. I mean, I cover myself from the nose down to block that wind and make sure that nothing else is coming in that way. And that keeps me warm, but my head doesn't get cold. Same thing for my
man. I
leg.
must be weird. My head is the only thing that gets cold.
Yeah. Well,
Man, I'm done, man.
It's individual. So you deal with that. So a balaclava where you like a big whole ski mask or a wool cap or something. You put the attention to where you feel the cold. Like I never really, my legs never really have gotten that cold. But I put the heated pants on anyway, just because it's so much easier. The wires are contained in the pants to go down to plug into my insole, because my feet did get cold. So you can do the basics, do the jacket, do the gloves, and then decide where you're getting cold. If you need to address heat on your feet, fine. You put something on your head. There's no one system that works for everybody, because everybody has a different bike. Everybody feels the cold different.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Ken. Like I'm the polar opposite to him. My legs is where I have to have something on. For those of us that really be on them motorcycles, we got a couple times we went down. My left leg from the knee to the ankle, all titanium. My right leg from the femur, all titanium in there. I feel that and I get uncomfortable. So like Ken was talking about zone control, for me, my head is where I can regulate everything. So that's why I wear something real thin up top, because if I feel I'm sweating, I just pop that vent open.
Right.
And that'll cool me off. And I really don't do a lot of changing my temperatures. My legs, though, are always going to be on a medium to warm, just because it's real comfortable. And we know being out in the cold, weather's going to fatigue you, whether it's rain, cold, heat, all those things fatigue you. So you want to be as comfortable as possible. My core almost always on low. My gloves, my gloves are probably not going to be on because I got the meaty grips. I'm about to crank them boys up. So my gloves may or may not be on. I mean, but I've been in to 0 degrees, 5 or 6. And then what people don't understand about us riding, we pass cars and they looking at us shaking their heads. Well, they do it because the ambient temperature for me at 60 miles per hour is 40 degrees. It's the wind shear is now 15 degrees less than what the standing temperature is for us. So if they say when I check the weather, I'm going to be in 40s to 50s in the daytime, maybe 30s at night. So what that's going to feel like to the person in the car is that we're riding in or standing outside is 20 degrees. So I'm all for it. It's just a matter of what's comfortable for me. As long as my playlist is right or my audio book is right, I'm out there.
My man. Yeah. Hey, so check this out. Okay, Country. I saw them fancy boots you had.
Yeah.
I saw them fancy boots you had. What do you wear on your feet? Do you wear a specific sock?
No, it's just basically a wool sock. So I found out before I got the Chippewas. And a lot of people probably don't realize this, but most of us ride in safety boots, and most of the time your safety boots are gonna have steel toe in them. So
smart.
The thing is, that steel toe, when you ride in the cold, it's gonna make your toes cold because that steel is gonna freeze. It's gonna freeze up. But for whatever reason, with these Chippewas, once I started wearing them 2 years ago, they steel toe, and I don't feel that there's no cold nowhere on them.
They insulated. It's got insulation in there.
Yeah. So most boots are not. Yeah.
Right. So if you have boots, like they said, the Chippewas are insulated. It has the insulation inside of them. So, but most boots don't come like this. They don't come like this. So if you're riding with just regular steel toe shoes, you definitely need some heated insoles depending on the temperatures you're riding in, because your toes definitely is gonna get cold.
Does anybody use like the battery powered socks or anything like that?
Inserts. I'm all plug in. Because I think it's pretty safe to say all of us are distance riders. You don't really have time to really play with recharging a battery or not. And me myself, I started out with the socks, like it's trial and error. It's whatever works for you. Like I don't wear the liners because I can't regulate the temperature. I started out with the socks, and the socks didn't work well for me. But once I put that insole, that heated insole in that Chippewa, it's like sitting with your feet in front of the fire. Just super comfortable.
Yeah.
Super comfortable.
Yeah. The average battery powered sock, jacket, gloves, whatever, they're working on 7.4 volts. Now your bike at highway speed is cranking out close to 14 volts. I ride a concourse and at highway speed, I'm at 14.2 volts. So you got twice the voltage to work with on an unlimited basis. So it makes more sense to plug in. And then, batteries, the battery life, you might get 3 hours out of a battery. So if you're going to go anywhere, how many spare batteries do you have to have?
Right.
And then when you get where you're going, you get to a motel or whatever, you're going to have to charge all those batteries up all at the same time. So how much of that stuff are you going to have to carry for something that's going to have, well, basically half the wattage of your plug-in gear? So I always recommend the plug-in gear. And I've studied this a little bit. People seem to have an aversion to plugging into the bike. And I understand, used to you'd have a bulky controller that you'd have to plug in and you have to put it somewhere or stick it in your pocket, or every time you get on the bike, you have to plug in your jacket, plug in your gloves and all that. And it was a little cumbersome, but it's not that way anymore. There's Bluetooth remote controllers where all you have to do is just plug it into the bike and one plug and you're good to go. So it's a lot easier now. And then, plugging in the gloves into your sleeves. I always say, if you haven't done that, and if you're worried about that or the wiring getting in the way and all that, it just becomes just like second nature, just like fastening a chin strap. I mean, I don't even think about it anymore. I sit on the bike, I plug my plugs in the bike, then I plug my gloves in, and I'm gone. It just takes seconds.
It's habit. It's habit. You have to be creatures of habit. Like I do it so much, I never even think about it. I have you guys, I know both Ken and Country, y'all, and even you, Sar, you're meticulous about the way you do things. I get on the bike, I do the same thing every time, every single time. I eat the same thing before a big ride.
Same here.
Large pizza, liter of water the night before, because I know that I'm carb loading, because I know I'm not gonna eat hardly heavy at all during that day. So because I do that the night before, I typically on 1,000 or more, I usually don't eat until 4 or 5 in the afternoon. I might snack, but and even
I'll just carry some high protein snacks in my tank bag. And and then the other thing before a long ride, especially iron butt ride, I love my coffee. I drink my coffee all day long, but the day before the ride, I cut out the coffee.
That's the only thing that's a pain in the tail for me, because I like coffee and I ain't drinking no coffee when I'm on the road. I do not do it.
Right, because you're just going to have to stop and pee it out, and then and I save that for if I'm at the end of a ride, if I'm 1,400 miles into a Bun Burner Gold and I'm really starting to crash, then as a last resort, I'll go get a little coffee for that last couple of hours. But as a practice, I'll do my diet thing, same thing. I'll pack my high protein snacks and I'll back way off on the caffeine the day or two before.
Hey, Ken, I saw a question that popped up. I meant to get back to it. I think it was a young lady said her husband's 6'4", 350. Do they have suits for him?
Well, yes and no. And they're for the select few riders that are off the standard size chart, I do custom work. So I can take an existing jacket liner. If you got a zip out thermal liner, I can take that and add heat to it. or if you send me a vest or a garment that fits, I can actually custom wire that for heat if there's nothing available. That's kind of a labor of love for me there because it's really time consuming. It's not cost effective, but for those guys that need it, I can do that. You know, if you're on the size chart, it's really easy. I can find you a deal on a good, you know, warm and safe jacket, or you can use any brand that you want. But if those guys are off the size chart, yes, I can help.
Hey, okay, since we're talking about this, so when we go to, and obviously I definitely want to post your site on the page, definitely for everybody to go and check it out. And I suggest you and I recommend people check it out. So, okay, the process, if I go to Ken today, call Ken up and say, hey man, I want a suit. Do you pick, do I have to come up with a brand and then ship the suit to you and you do modifications to it, or you design the suit? How does that whole thing work?
Well, we'll do, you know, we'll find out what you got and what your goals are. So I always like to find out what you're wearing, your outer shell, because that's important, because you know you got to seal up, you got to block the wind, you got to be waterproof. Okay, so whatever your choice is to do that, that's fine. Then I'll work on, you know, what are you doing for a base layer, and then we'll talk about the heat, which is my specialty. And if you know, and if you want me to do a pair of gloves, then I would, you know, I've got a chart that I send out. I have a meticulous method of measuring your hand, because different brands of gloves are cut different ways with different finger lengths, and of course the printed sizes are all ad hoc. So I don't pay any attention to those sizes. I go by the measurements, and then I can recommend a glove for you to use. And I may have something here, or you would go buy, you know, whatever you want in that range, send it to me, and I would add the heat. The insoles for your feet, I just need a length measurement of your existing insole. So once again, the boot sizes are ad hoc. I don't go by that. I go by the actual measurement, so I can cut insoles custom to fit your boots. And so I make those insoles myself. And then for everything else that you need, as I mentioned, I'm a warm and safe dealer, so that it's just more expedient and cost effective to do warm and safe gear, because you know, I've just got a great relationship with them. They're great quality. They're the only heated gear company in business now that's still under original ownership. So Mike Cohen invented the heat troller, the pulse width modulator controller, and they've been building that same gear and innovating for all of these years, when, you know, when other companies have gone under or been taken over, bought out, whatever. So I recommend the warm and safe gear, and I can get riders a deal, give them a percentage off there too, for the, you know, the pants, the jackets, controllers, things like that I don't actually make.
Awesome stuff. Hey man, this is some cool stuff here, man. Hopefully everybody's getting some real good information off this. Hopefully everybody will check out the website to again, man, because when you don't know, I've always said, when you don't know and you go buy it, you're probably gonna end up buying twice. Is that fair? We're gonna learn our lessons from some of this stuff.
We have all wasted so much money, and it's just like, oh, I'll buy this, it's cheap. I'll click on the website, I'll order it, I'll try it, looks good, and then we learn that, well, it didn't work that well. We need something better, and so that's one of the things that I think is most important. Is I like to save riders the trouble. If you know, if they want to just go ahead and spend the money and get geared up properly and not go through the trial and error that we all went through, then you know, I've had a good day.
Awesome. Right. I think each one is like the old carpenter. This is the ability for riders to measure twice, cut once. So when you have, you know, sessions like this, like, I don't even have to, I mean, it's cool that Sarge has a platform to do it now, but you know how much stuff I've learned from Country just watching him ride. Just
Oh, for
watching him ride. Just I'll see he'll post something. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I know to look for that next time. And with a forum like this is the measure twice right here. All you got to do is cut it, play it, and do what you got to do.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this, Preach. You put me on. It was a state of debacle. Was it last year
Oh,
with the state? It was earlier this year with the state
man.
of get out.
Yeah. Oh
Hey,
man.
you taught me some tricks.
Man, it's the easiest thing. It's funny for the staters. If you riding with somebody, you guys just swap batteries.
Yeah.
Battery go down, you swap batteries, charge it up. But we're in a situation where we really couldn't do it.
Right.
And so I took my jump box and kind of bungeed it to that rear peg and plugged it into the starter. And we were able to get to the dealer to get it changed. But it's learning. That's just what I'm saying. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
how
It's
creative
learning.
you can get when you're out there in the middle of nowhere.
Hey, I tell you, man. Hey, you got to figure that thing out, man. You
Mhm.
you want to help.
And speaking of jump box, I don't know which one Preach uses, but the one I carry is called the Halo,
Okay.
and that's basically this module right here. It's a jump box, an air pump, a flashlight, and an accessory charger all in one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you get that from Amazon?
That's from Amazon. It's called Halo, Halo.
What was it hitting on? $60?
No, this one was. I think it ran about $100, about $100.
Okay.
Yeah, Halo's a nice one.
It's a one.
Oh, yeah, it's probably.
And it's very small. I have a little case that goes with it. It just fits into the case. It goes right into the tool pack.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I run a Hulk. I run a Hulk because I run a Ulcer. I run the pump that, obviously you can do it's got the light on it, but it's the rechargeable pump. I like that Hulk because you don't have to keep recharging it. Like I can have that thing in my saddlebag on a full charge and it'll last, 17, 18 months without having to recharge it. It's still going to be 100. And then my air pump, I like that one because I don't have on my limited, I don't have the temperature, the TPS sensor, but I'm a creature of habit. Again, I go set that for 36 in the front, 40 in the back, and I just turn it on and it'll cut itself off when it's at that temperature.
Yeah, the Halo does the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, but yeah, be ready because if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Ready. Hey, but I want to cover a couple more things before we round this thing into home, gentlemen. So, okay, so I'm intrigued with the boots. Those boots. You can't just walk into any place and buy those. What do they call it? Chippewas.
Chippewas.
Chippewas. You just can't buy those boots from anywhere. You have to order those boots. Am I correct?
Yeah, you have to order them. Yeah.
Okay, so I would have to actually go to the manufacturer themselves to get those boots.
Yeah, you go on eBay. So it's a certain brand though. It's not just you can buy Chippewas, but there's a certain brand of Chippewa, and I can't remember what's the brand name. Preach.
I do not remember because they don't make them anymore.
Hey, Country, you got a homework assignment, man. You got to get that link. Put that
I will. I'll get it. It's a certain model. It's a certain model of the Chippewas. It's not just because you can buy Chippewa boots, but it's a certain model of the Chippewa that has the installation.
Okay, how bad is it gonna hit me for?
These right here, I think I paid $200, but I bought them from some individual. So it wasn't because this model has been discontinued. So you have to go out there and you have to go out and search different, search different areas like eBay, OfferUp, places like that somebody you might look up and find them.
Yeah,
I don't remember the other brand. There's some that they're snow boots, and they have a thick wool insert that goes into the boot, and then you put your sock and you put in there. I don't remember that brand, but it works like that Chippewa. But there's some of those available. But that's an interesting thing because most people, they're only going to buy one set of boots. and it's always summertime when they buy their boots, so they fit the boots with their regular street socks, and then and they're good. And then when it starts to get cold, well, oh my gosh, we're going to cram in 2 or 3 pairs of socks, and we'll try to put in some heated socks or insole. Next thing you know, you're cutting off your circulation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came up with the system there where I just get one good thick pair of wool ski socks, and I actually take my cushion insoles out, because if you're riding, you're not walking around that much anyway. And then I designed
So real quick, Ken, not to interrupt, but where do I go get these socks from? Because I mean, you don't just walk into Cycle Gear and get really good thick wool socks. Am I correct?
Maybe not, but yeah, I got mine on Amazon. But as long as they're 100% merino wool.
What's that? What's the big hunting store that everybody uses?
I mean, I got these on Amazon, so they're knee high. They're pretty thick. They're 100% merino wool, and they're probably $20.
Yeah.
So you can get. It's just the material. The brand really doesn't matter. Just stick with the wool, because that's going to reflect your heat back at you best. So I do that, and I take my cushion insoles out to make room for these thicker socks. And then my insoles are wafer thin, so they earn you a little bit more room in that boot for the thicker sock too. So with these socks, and then of course I wear the city boots. Here, I got them right here. I wear these all year long. They're Gore-Tex, guaranteed waterproof. My last pair are still waterproof. They're 13 years old. They probably got 150,000 miles on them. And so this is just simple. I just put my insole in there, and I'm done. I don't have to worry about it. And here's what the insole looks like. You see how thin that is?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, and this is 20 watts. You'll never turn this up more than 30%. And so with the Gore-Tex boot, the insole, and the wool socks, I'm good single digits. So and this is something that you wear all year long, and I just take these out in the summer.
Okay.
And Sarge, I looked up that name.
A pair of boots for winter, you can just use that system, and there's plenty of heat in that boot to keep you warm.
Okay, good stuff.
Hey, Sarge, I looked up the name. I wanted to confirm it. I thought it was called a Fireman. It is. It's a 9-inch Fireman is what the Chippewa that we wear is.
Man, look, I'm over here looking up, trying to find it myself.
Hey, but in case you want a pair, Sarge, there's a pair here on eBay.
Yeah,
$575 is what the bid is up to.
Nice.
Hey.
Hey man, I guess you get what you pay for, huh? Good Lord.
Yeah, they were about 300 or 400 when they were selling. They were 300 to 400 depending on the size. But a lot of guys have lucked up. eBay is a search you can do to find them. Every now and then, how I found mine was searching different like shoe sites, because they'll have them, because they don't make them anymore. I got mine. I probably paid under 200 for them, but it was a closeout. They were trying to get rid of them. Just happened to be my size. So they're hard to come by.
It's hard to come by, especially in your size.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think
I love finding the deal.
Hey man, the guys I got on the panel today, man, I'm gonna need y'all to put Iron Elite page on. Hey man, get that stuff out there to us, man, so we don't have to, as Priest say, so we don't have to. What you say? Measure once, measure twice.
Measure twice, cut once.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as we're running this into home, gentlemen. So, Ken, what should I look realistically? I know we've got the Super Bowl tier of heated suits and the whole heated get down. And when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the base layer of the whole suit, the whole nine. What am I looking to pay for on the matter of fact? Take me on the bottom tier, then take me to the top tier. What would I be looking to spend? So realistically, as Sarge is putting this money together, what am I looking to spend coming out the gate? Be real with me.
Well, you could do a jacket and a pair of gloves for $300. You
I,
could do.
I would. I'm sorry, let me cut you off. Ken. I would definitely recommend gloves first. Outside
Yeah.
of anything else, I recommend
Right.
gloves first because your hand and your feet is going to be the first thing that gets cold.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's where we feel it the most, and that's true. But I recommend the jacket liner for two reasons. One, to warm your core to prevent that hypothermia reaction shutting off your circulation to your extremities. So I recommend warm your core first. And another reason is the jacket liner is going to have the wiring for your gloves contained. So if you get gloves standalone, you're going to have to get wires that you run loose down your sleeves. So it's you can do it that way, and I did it that way. I started with gloves and I did the wires first, and then I said, okay, I'm going to build a jacket liner and contain everything. But that's and here again, it's individual. A lot of times, I talk to a lot of riders. They just have a vest. Their hands don't get that cold, and that's all they need. And I go, okay, great. But if you want to have the whole system self-contained and have it convenient, do the jacket liner so you got the wires built in, and all you got to do is plug your gloves in, and you don't have to manage all those extra wires.
Mhm. Well, I'm gonna say this, fellas. Y'all can chime in. I'm gonna say this. My number, and I'm thinking realistically, with all the stuff that I use the California heated suit, but I'm saying with everything I spent, I'm saying about 2,000, 2,200.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
What y'all thinking?
Hey, the
Yeah,
California heated suit, they don't make that one no more. So that's
what's that?
yeah.
Is that about safe to say from head to toe about $2,200?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. It just depends. I mean, the California heated suit, they don't make it anymore. So it's hard to find. Yeah, every now and then you might find one. Myself, my suits are a lot like the ESP we talk about, the extended one. My bike got to have a warranty. If I'm using a material, I want it to be easily accessible, and I want it to have some sort of warranty.
Right.
That's why I chose, like in my research, that's why I chose hot wire. I know it's got a 2-year warranty on it. I know anytime a piece goes, and I've done it. I've been 1,000 miles away, swap out a piece at a random cycle gear, and I got another piece, and I'm on again. So let me give the example with hot wire. So like for me, if I'm doing everything in hot wire, it's about just a hot wire. It's $750. Pretty safe to say. You'll get head to toe everything. And then the merino wool, Ken's right. It's about, and I'll drop some of the links on the Iron Elite page. I go on Amazon and get it. If I'm doing a base layer, $250, it's going to be $120 for the pants, the top, and a pair of socks. And then I always will order like a pair of socks. 3-pack is probably $30. So, and it doesn't really matter. He's right. It doesn't matter the brand. It doesn't matter the brand for the wool, just as long as you have merino wool. History lesson, Spanish sheep, merino wool that's what you want. Merino wool, soft wool is going to retain heat, all those good things. So I do that piece. And if I'm just looking at gear Chippewas, if you can find them, you're looking at another $400. So yeah, I'm easily at 15. And if you want a nice helmet, you're another $750. So easily you're back at the 2,000.
Yeah, I mean,
that doesn't even include the leather.
I already know what that's gonna hit for.
Put a comm system in that Neotech too, and you're over 1,000.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
The Neotech was 1,000. It was 1,000 with the Bluetooth.
Oh, for sure.
So it goes up quick, but I think the takeaway, and I know you fellows will agree, is you want to work up to those things, find them at a discount, find them in the summer. If you can get a piece at a time, I preload. If I see something on sale, yeah, I'm going to need that eventually. I'm going to grab it now so it's on the bike. One other thing with heated gear, I don't want this to happen to y'all because it happened to me. Quick story. I'm running February, across the country, I ran a splitter. Cycle Gear sells a splitter. This is why it's important to run 2 lines. So I'm running the splitter, and I noticed my gloves cut off. And if I move a little bit, you know, they came back on. So it's 20 degrees, and I'm just toggling back and forth. Like, I'll move a little bit, but as it got colder, I'm like, man, I ain't gonna be able to keep this up the whole trip. So I finally made an executive decision. I said, look, well, I'm gonna keep my core and my hands warm, and then I'm just gonna have to unplug the bottom. So what I would do is every gas station, I plug in the bottoms while I was gassing to get my feet and legs together, that 5 minutes, and then I'd switch it back. So the reason you want to run 2 lines is because those splitters short out.
Yep.
So my takeaway from that was, not only do I run 2 lines, they're only $10. I got a spare line in the saddlebag just in case one of them goes out. So,
well, I got something for that. I don't mean to cut you off, Ken. My bad. So I made a drastic mistake, and you going back to when you said we have a routine every time we get on the bike, get off the bike, whatever. So I'm doing this ride about a month ago. I'm doing the Arizona X Gold. So I'm all the way up north, up by Four Corners Monument, and there's this post office where you gotta take the picture at because it's the corner, the northeast corner of Arizona. So yeah, I was plugged in because it was still cold up that way. So I got off the bike and I forgot to unplug from a trickle charger. I forgot to unplug the wire. So I got off, it automatically just unplugged by itself because it just comes apart. Mm-hmm. So I had to get gas. So instead of me plugging back in, I said, you know what? I'll just plug back in once I get down right. I had to go like another 10 miles to get to the gas station. So I get to the gas station, got my gas with the plug in, and guess what happened? The wire connector came apart from the wire, and it fell on the ground somewhere. And I didn't have no time to turn around and go back and get it.
Ooh.
So now I'm around I had to ride about 300 some miles, man, with no heated elements. So luckily I had to come back. Yeah, luckily to get to the southeast corner, I had to come back through Phoenix, and so I was able to stop at the house real quick and grab another one.
That's excellent advice. I always recommend to get 2 battery harnesses for your heated gear with the coaxial plugs.
That will never happen again.
Both on your battery, have them out there. And of course, I have 2 controllers. So I have a controller for my jacket, gloves, pants, and insole. So I got a knob for everything. But I've got 2 plugs coming out. So if I blow a fuse, or if something goes wrong with one set, I can plug into that other battery harness. The other thing is the SAE plugs, the battery tender plugs. They're not nearly as reliable as the coaxial. So you want to just hang that out for your battery tender, but don't plug your heated gear into that SAE plug because it'll fail on you every time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't use that one at all. That's straight to the battery.
I go the other way around. I've got a coaxial plug on my battery tender. So I just plug it in my heated gear harness that way, and I don't have an SAE on the bike at all.
Okay.
Hey,
I didn't know.
I didn't either, man. That's why I have y'all on, man. So
I didn't know that, Ken. That was a good one. I didn't know nothing about that one.
Research, I learned that one. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a real good one.
Hey, man, awesome stuff.
We learned this stuff the hard way.
Yeah, sometimes we do. Sometimes we do. Hey, so gents, before I go ahead and put a cap in it, I just want to ask a couple questions that I've seen. The first one's from Vernon Powell. He said, question for the guys that ride with custom music. That ain't me. Do you play music through your bike when you're plugged in? I don't
I'll answer.
Except on my Bluetooth helmet.
So normally what I do is I'll play my music. If I'm not going that far, I'll play it and I'll run my heated gear. But if I'm going far, normally what I do is that once I get on the freeway, I turn the music off and I run everything through the Bluetooth.
Yeah,
you do
same here. Yeah, I don't do I don't do custom music anymore. I did my first Harley, and I found that because my ride is that distance running, I prefer everything in my helmet. And I just, I don't want the wind noise. I want everything in my helmet. Wind noise, to me, that fatigues you. Like, just your music is cool, but in order for you to stay on, 1200 or more, you got to be comfortable. So I do stuff like limit my gas stops, even though I may not need it. Every 2 hours I stop, every 150 miles. So I'm rested, and that's a good pace for me. So I'm not fatiguing as I go. So for me, yeah, music in the helmet.
Okay. So last question, gentlemen. I'm gonna run it around the room so everybody
Hey,
can take a
sorry,
stab.
before we go back, also to Vernon, even when you ride, and you get caught in the rain, a lot of guys still run their music. If you don't spend a lot of money on music like I have, you riding in the rain. Yeah, everything I have is waterproof. So I can run it in the rain if I wanted to, but
I shut all that mess
but
off.
the rule of thumb is you got to remember, like I said, before, you got your speakers has fabric. That fabric, when the water hits it, is gonna get soft. So if you got custom music and any kind of water hitting your speaker, when that bass is hitting, it's going to eventually, start tearing away from the speaker.
Mm-hmm.
So I always regardless of if I'm going far, I always just turn the music off and just run through the helmet until I get to where I'm going.
Right.
And then once you get to where you're going, if you went through a storm and went through rain or anything, still, even then, don't turn it on right away. Give it enough time to where the speakers can at least dry.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with you. So, fellas, I know I could keep you here all day, but I know y'all got things to do, man. So, last question, and I'm gonna run it around to everybody. Everybody can take a stab at it. What should I look for in a quality suit? What should be the bottom thing the basics of what that suit has to have for it to be a quality suit?
So, my opinion, I'll go first. My opinion is wind protection, number one, rain protection, number two. And if you can find one like the one I have, get it with the safety gear inside of it, the arm pads and the knee pads.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm. I would just echo what Country said. I agree. Wind protection, rain protection, some sort of safety protection. I'm real big, and I can't ever say it enough, on the ability to be able to replace something if it fails on you on the highway, right? So I try to get things or choose brands that are easily replaceable. I'm going to be able to go anywhere and get them. A lot of people run Harley oil. I like to run the VR1 because if I need it, I can go to AutoZone and get it. Same for my gear, Harley gear or a gear that I can go and they got something in stock. So to add to what Country said, find a way to always check on the warranty and see what that value is.
Awesome stuff. Ken, take us in the home.
Yeah. Well, I agree, and it's just you source the best materials that you can find. I mean, this is an extreme sport, so like anything else, you're gonna have the material that works best for you. Brand really doesn't come into play that much, but for an outer suit, I'm just a firm believer that the Gore-Tex is the most versatile, and you can get that through the Climb or Aerostitch. I think Aerostitch has got something else that they're doing now, but it's something that you can wear year round. So it's breathable in the summer, and then it's impervious to the elements in the winter, and it's like I said, that's the only material that's guaranteed not to leak. And I've had so many pieces of gear that I just dearly loved and raved about for 2 or 3 years, and guess what? They start leaking. Well, if you have a Gore-Tex suit and it starts to leak, they have to fix it, or replace it. Another thing that you want, of course, you want to have your gear insured on your bike policy, so different insurance companies will have accessory coverage that you can get. But if you go down on a piece of Climb gear and there's a police report. If that gear is less than 5 years old, Climb replaces it for free. Nobody does that. So, so that kind of adds to the value there because it is more expensive. But you know, I gravitated to that. It took me years, took me decades to get to that point to see that value of that gear where it is truly 4-season gear. You can open the vents, you can run it in the summer, you can run that LD Comfort like this in the summer where you've got evaporative cooling in your jacket. So you're not getting the sun blistering down on you, not getting dehydrated. So you wear the same thing all year long. And then, you know, and then of course it's good for the winter to block out the wind and the rain. So that's what I would be looking for is something with the genuine Gore-Tex built in.
Awesome. Hey, gentlemen, this is what I got to say. Bravo. Bravo today, man. I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate all you guys. I know you got things to do. You got busy lives, but I appreciate you coming on and giving this important information to people who follow the page, people who pay attention. I guarantee you, there are people right now that are writing this stuff down, that are taking copious notes to, you know, to do better, to be suited up, to be able to ride better, to be a more effective man. So I appreciate what you guys do, what you did for us today, because Each One Teach One really is the way we get better at what we're doing, and that's motorcycling greatly and safely. So with that being said, I know Preach, you got things to do, man, and I'll see you in a couple of days, man. So shout out to Preach. He getting ready to do the I-10 to the end, man. It ain't for everybody.
Hey, safe travels, my brother.
Yes, sir. Kick him and light him.
What we at? About 2,800 on the down? We doing about 27, 28?
Yeah, I looked at the total. I just mapped the total amount. I'll be at about 5,000 when I get home.
No, I'm just this way. Just this way.
Oh, it's 25. It's 400 to start. I got to go 400 just to start, and then it's 2,500 across.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm packing my oil with me too, because when I get back to Houston, I just changed it December 8th. So when I get back to Houston on the way back, got to change that oil. So I got room. I'm just gonna put them 4 quarts and them 2 gear oils in there and change it on the way.
Hey, man, we excited, man. We can't wait, man. We'll be praying for you, man. We're going to be supporting you, brother. We're going to be cheering for you.
All right.
Hey, Preach finna tell us how it's done, man. Each One Teach One. He finna do it, man. So
Yes,
I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to tell you, this is what Texas say. Come on in. We're waiting on your funky ass.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
Preach, man, much love, bro. We'll see you, country.
Yes,
I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate the way Down the Pound came up on me, man. I'm telling you, I was like a cheerleader when y'all came through here.
Didn't they do something epic?
Hey, man, I'm telling you, hey, when I saw them, I saw that Sea of Black coming in at 640 Stockton Street, man. It just, man, I came like a little cheerleader, man.
Hey, listen. I told Country when I saw him afterwards, and let me just say it publicly now. Right. It's a such thing as setting the standard.
Yes.
For a group. So it's gonna be plenty. It's gonna be plenty that go across after. That's probably gonna be more than 16. Yeah, that's cool. But you see, you didn't. He set the standard. He set the mark, the bar. The whole point of it is for somebody to set the bar and then us to try to elevate it, not to be better than them, but just to take it a step further. When I tell you this brother set the standard for clubs to ride across,
man, I'm chills down my spine, man. When I saw
look, he did that thing, and I was at work trying to sneak and look where he at now. Where he at?
So just picking back off that, I appreciate y'all, man, and I appreciate y'all saying that, and even though it was me that led the ride, but it wasn't just about me, man. It was about the brand. It was about the organization. Those brothers, they bought into the the system. They bought into the things that we had to do on the road, and we had some first timers, man. Like I said, they did what they supposed to do, man, and we got across there.
Awesome.
So it wasn't just about me. It was about all of us.
Oh, bravo, brother, bravo. And Ken, man, you came highly recommended. And I'm telling you, man, when Reef.
Well, thank you for the invite. It's an honor.
When Reef and K Solo back you, bro, that's 50 grand. No
Yeah.
ifs, ands, or
Oh,
about it.
oh yeah.
Hey.
Oh, those guys are just superstars. Yeah.
Hey, man, they rock stars, man.
I'm just in awe of what they do, and I'm glad I can play a role here and help a little bit.
Yeah, I call him Batman and Robin, man. K Solo is
yeah.
Batman. Hey, he just come out of nowhere, man. He just you set the signal up, and man, K Solo.
Yeah.
Hey, one day he in Arctic Circle, the next day he in Key West, man.
Yeah, he different. He different.
Different kind of cat, man. He's a different kind of cat. So
Reef does the same thing. Reef does the same thing. He'll hit me up and he'll say, I'll be somewhere in 15 minutes. I'm like, man, I'm laying in the bed.
Hey, they play no games.
You look at their U.S. map there. I call K Solo a human spirograph.
Oh man, he's you know, he's an alien, right?
everywhere.
Hey, he ain't from this world, man. K Solo got about 3 lungs. That dude's an alien. You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
Hey, fellas, I couldn't even bring K Solo on here at first, man, because like them guys say, you know, K Solo don't wear those suits or nothing. He just wear gloves.
Right.
I'll tell you a quick story about K Solo. He lost one of his gloves. He went a whole year with one glove. So it was the right one. So I guess he was sticking his left hand in his pocket. But he went a whole year with one glove, and then his girlfriend finally had to call me and say, "Can you make him another pair of gloves?"
Oh man, that's too crazy. Hey, so Ken, if you don't mind, before we let go, can you go ahead and shout out the website, the link? How can we find you, the company, the whole 9 yards, if you don't mind?
I'm old school. I just have the Facebook page. It's Phoenix Flaming Hot Heated Gear. And the best way to contact me is just call me in the evening. I do have a day job, but I'll give you my phone number. It's 409-363-1417. Just call me and I'll talk you through anything you need, heated gear wise, answer any questions regardless of brand.
That's what's up.
Hey, make sure they make sure they know it's Phoenix without the O.
Without the O.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. So, hey, gentlemen, hey man, enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much. I can't thank you guys enough for what you did, giving up your time for us. So, hey, we're gonna go ahead and shut this thing on down. But much love to everybody, man. And in the meantime, y'all keep it motorcycling. You dig?
Yes, sir.
Later.
All right, preach.
All right, brother.
Okay, hey man. So there you have it. Each one teach one. The road to Iron Elite, man. Trying to give you guys game, trying to give you guys substance, trying to give you guys tools that you can use for cold weather riding, man. So again, you guys are going to see more and more of this. I'm going to be bringing on guests to talk about riding, to talk about the cold weather get down, to give you guys as many nuggets as we can to make sure that your ride is as safe, as efficient as humanly possible. So for those that don't know, man, figure it out really quick. First weekend in February, Iron Elite paying tribute to Black History Month event. 2nd and 3rd of February 2024 at Bay Metals Harley Davidson, Adam Mack Harley Davidson at Bay Metals Boulevard. I'm sorry, here in Jacksonville, Florida. The event itself is from 12 to 5. During the event, we're going to be paying tribute to the 2024 Titan Award recipients. On the female side, Shaquila Bussey. On the male side, Gorilla Blue. So, man, we're excited. We can get everything together. We can't wait to see you guys, man. So that's what we're doing. We're going to have more and more podcast shows like this that we're going to be bringing on some great guests and talking about motorcycle riding, man. So that's what it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this thing, man. In the meantime, keep it motorcycling, you dig?